Hello, my dear Rotarians. My name is Oksana Tjupa, and I am a charter president of Rotary Club Kyiv International. And also today I would like to tell you our report for 100 days of war and how we work as volunteers in Ukraine. First of all, thank you very much for Australians as a nation, because you were the first, one of the first countries who have provided support to Ukraine and helped with weapons to our country. So thank you very much. What more, thank you very much as Rotarians, because many Rotarians are helping these days and sending money, support and sympathy to Ukraine, supporting and doing humanitarian projects together, sending money to Rotary International, sending money to us, and thank you for this a lot. And also we are very thankful that you are always ready to support with your sympathy, prayers, and even just words supporting us and telling how you take care about our situation, and that you are aware about what is happening, and all your support is with us. Thank you for this. Let me start with my story that when the war started on the 24th of February, it was my birthday, and I woke up at 5 because of hearing bombing. In the first hours, all the civilian airports in Ukraine were ruined. And in the second few hours, we had military law or martial law started in Ukraine due to situation of real war. The first day was a complete shock. Nobody could understand what is going on because we were not prepared. All in my surrounding and even Rotarians could not believe that this could happen. So until we hear the bombs, we did not believe this war could start, because starting with 2014, we have this Crimea war, we have this Lugansk and Donetsk war, and when everybody is crying wolves, wolves every day, you stop believing that wolves can come one day. So within 8 years, we had this war in Crimea, in Lugansk and Donetsk. It was very somewhere far away, and that's why we did not care about our everyday life. So for us, it was a complete shock that this war could start, because it is unrealistic, unlogical, completely stupid war that is killing economies and people of two countries, of Russia and Ukraine. And it is a big shock for both countries, for people, because we have many families both in Russia and Ukraine. We have many connections with Russia and Ukraine, and this war ruined everything. So I would love to show you a few examples of our work, because we have a very strong Rotary Club. There are about 25 people that are very active now. There are more than 60 Rotary clubs around Ukraine, and we are working together in collaboration. And there are many also projects that we are doing together, and that is the reason why we are very active. So let me start with a few projects that we started. Starting with war, we started doing shelters. Shelter is a place for IDPs, internally displaced people. From the very first days, we were helping with evacuation, I will tell you later, and helping with organizing shelters for internally displaced people. So we, by today, we have organized already 4 shelters for almost 1,000 IDPs in 4 regions: in Lviv, Zolochiv city, in Ivano-Frankivsk region, Polianytsa village, Zakarpattia, Uzhgorod, and in Poltava region of Pishnya and other communities. So what we're doing, we are providing beds, pillows, mattresses, linen for them to have decent conditions for living, because before that they were living on the floor. So these are our government provided us with schools, with buildings, schools, kindergartens, colleges, universities, where people can stay for living, because before that, these houses are well heated. And when the war started, it was winter and it was very cold. And when people were coming, they had to live in decent, warm conditions. So we were providing these small items for them for just usual living conditions to stay safe, to sleep, to have a roof above their head, and to stay together with families that they were removing together. We also provide these shelters with fridges, ovens, washing machines, so that people can cook, wash their clothes, and stay safe. Our aim is to collect money and to build up to 100 shelters, because these many regions are in the center of Ukraine, as you can see in this map. Most of people are moving from the east. Here we can see the east of and the Crimea Peninsula. And they are moving to the center. Here is Kyiv. They are moving to the center and to the west of Ukraine, because these cities and regions are also under bombing, but there are no hard battles on these regions. Even on Saturday, there was heavily bombing in Kyiv, and one of bombs has fallen not far from my house in Kyiv. By these days, I'm also IDP. I'm on the west of Ukraine in the Zakarpattia region. And I know just because my mother is staying in Kyiv, and she told that one bomb got into the railway station for repairs, and it is completely ruined. And one got into the lake, not far from our house. So we have this in our Kyiv these days, and every day bombing is going on in the Zakarpattia region, in Lviv, Uzhgorod, and many other cities, Rivne, Poltava, Kharkiv, and many other cities of Ukraine. And these days we have still terrible situation, because more than 50 bombs every day come to civilians, to usual people every day. So we also deliver hygiene and many humanitarian products to this shelter, so that people can wash, cook, and help each other. Thanks to some Rotary clubs in Italy, we have got 2 ambulances, and we bring them to Kharkiv and Chernigiv, because these cities were occupied by Russian troops, and they need more ambulances, because every day more than 10 people get, and soldiers also get injured, and they need the government needs more ambulances to bring people to hospitals. We also have signed a contract with International Organization of Migration, and we help with these regions that were under occupation. It is Kyiv region, Chernigiv region, and Kharkiv that were under occupation. We are Russian occupation. We help them with their different non-product complex, helping them to repair their houses, because many houses are private, and we help these people, bringing them nails and many building materials to help them to repair their houses. And we are helping them, distributing this. It is direct help to people in these communities, in these regions. Our volunteers go there and bring all this stuff to help to repair the houses, because many people are coming back and they want to repair their houses that were under heavily bombing or after Russian occupation by Russian soldiers. Many people got injured also, and we are helping with medicine. I will tell you later about this. So what we were doing in May, the whole May, was with distributing non-product sets for people to repair their houses, because many of houses are completely ruined or partly ruined, and we were helping with some things to repair houses of people. We also train teams to examine shelters in Kyiv, Poltava, region, Dnipro region, and next week we will start also Zaporizhia region. So we examine shelters according to International Migration Organization standards, so that we can help directly to these shelters according to the examinations that we have done according to international rules. We are working together with our government and authorities. I mean that all this examination and delivery is always in accordance with work of our authorities. So we always coordinate our work so that we will be helpful to each other. And as you know, Rotary is also working with clear water and sanation. We are buying or delivering filters from abroad to install them in communities, because many of bombing ruined our chemical plants or gasoline stations, and all these chemical items go into ground and they poison our land. Many people cannot drink water from a well because now it is many wells are polluted, especially after gasoline bombing. I mean, when the gasoline station was bombed, or for example, many of plants who are producing chemical items also were under bombing. So people need more filters to have access to drinking water. Before the war, we didn't have this problem in Ukraine, because we have very good water and sanation system in Ukraine after Soviet Union. Of course, it is not the best, but we didn't have a problem of getting access to clear water. Now we have this problem, and we are buying and installing all this stuff. We have the special chemical analysis to check if the filters are good working for people. And we continue installing this to hospitals, to communities, to shelters where the IDPs live. So this is also our job by these days. And all this job is done together with other Rotary clubs. For example, if we install the filters in Poltava, we work with Rotary Poltava club. If it's in Zaporizhia, we work with Zaporizhia club. So it is always with the collaboration with other Rotarians. When the war started in the first months, there was a problem with the delivery of food to villages and cities, because many supplies chains were ruined. And we were buying and searching for food to deliver to Kharkiv and villages around Kharkiv, to Sumy and Chernigiv. We are very thankful for Rotarians who stayed at their cities like Kharkiv, and under bombing, they were helping us distributing all the aid that we were delivering. In Kharkiv, there are 7 Rotary clubs. They have a community of more than 200 Rotarians who started from the first day of war. They made a humanitarian hub, and they were distributing food, medicine, and all that we were bringing around Kharkiv citizens and villages around Kharkiv, and under occupation also. When it was winter, the truck drivers refused to go to the cities under bombing. That's why we were searching for volunteers who could bring the food and medicine to these cities like Kharkiv, Chernigiv, or Sumy. And our volunteers, Rotarians, were distributing all this stuff to people who stayed in these cities. Many people, of course, evacuated, but many of them stayed also at their houses. As you see, most of people who stayed, they are old people or people with disabilities, or people who are afraid to leave their houses because they are afraid to lose their house. It was for the first months until these chains, the food chains were ruined, and that was the reason why we were delivering and distributing it for free for civilians inside of city and in the villages around the city. We have now a big help with humanitarian aid, and in the first month it was a complete chaos, and only thanks to Rotary clubs we could deliver and distribute it to direct help to people in need. And it is a big help of Rotary Cherkasy, Poltava, Zaporizhia, Dnipro, who were distributing by their own hands and all this stuff to the people in need. The first month, March, was we call this evacuation month, because more than 7 million people left their houses from the east of Ukraine and from the center. As for me, my family left Kyiv in the second day, so I'm also IDP because I live in the west of Ukraine near Uzhgorod. And many other people could not have, they didn't have opportunity to live by their own car. That is why railway trains were the only opportunity to leave their flat, to leave their city. And we were helping these workers, railway workers, because for the 1 month they did not have a chance to leave their train, because the moment the train comes to Lviv, bringing people from the east, the next hour the train goes back to for another portion of people. Of course, it was for free, but these people in trains, they were working day and night. They didn't have shower for 1 month because they were working for helping in evacuating people. And we were helping as a Rotary Club, and thanks to other clubs, we were delivering hot food just on the station. When the train comes, we bring hot food and the train goes further so that people could eat inside. I mean, the workers of this railway could have hot food staying at work for 1 month without leaving their train. As for bomb shelters, we were not prepared, and many of our bomb shelters were not, they are still are not equipped in the proper way so that people could stay there. They are cold, they are not equipped with water, sanitary, toilets, warm items. So many Rotary clubs were uniting and helping bomb shelters to get food, to get warm things, water filters, hot meal, clear water, to deliver this, because for more than 6 weeks, people there were living down in these bomb shelters because of sirenas loud and all the day and night, especially in Kharkiv, Kyiv, and big cities like Chernihiv and many others. We purchased and delivered food and clothes to remote villages, and we were delivering this especially to families with many children. We were attracting also humanitarian aid, food, medicine, so that we can deliver them to hospitals and to people in need. In fact, we have team in Kyiv. We have a good Rotary with more than 50 members, and they also collected many other volunteers. We have several teams of Rotary together with other Rotary clubs. We call this Kyiv Chernihiv team. Every 2 days, this team was delivering help to Chernihiv when it was under occupation, after occupation. So we were helping Chernihiv a lot directly to people in need. We have Uzhgorod-Dnipro team, the team that goes from Uzhgorod to Dnipro every 3 days and delivered food, medicine, and a lot of stuff, diapers, hygiene, especially to families with many people who could not leave because they didn't have opportunity. We have Polianytsa Team that was taking humanitarian aid and delivering to remote villages of Dnipro, Zaporizhia, and other small villages that could not get this as a help. We were getting their demands, and we were packing the bus and delivering this aid to them. In Kyiv, in our center, we had a team that every morning was taking orders from people with disabilities, old people, people who could not leave their flats or houses. And during the day, we were buying and distributing food, medicine, hygiene to these people who could not leave their house or flat. As for bomb shelters, we were delivering also buying and delivering warm clothes, warm socks, thermal marks, sleeping bags, mattresses, so that people could sleep in warm conditions inside of shelters. As for evacuation, there were many people who could not evacuate by train. These were people with disabilities, people on wheelchairs, blind people, and we were helping finding them their buses, and we were paying for petrol so that we can collect people and bring them to Lviv. Another Rotary clubs from Lviv were helping people to evacuate abroad to Poland, Netherlands, Switzerland, and other. So our work was to deliver people from Kyiv to Lviv, or from Chernihiv to Lviv, or from Kharkiv to Lviv. So up to 1,000 people we were helping the people that could not afford this according to their disabled conditions. We didn't have idea that we could meet this problem. Many pets were left alone, and our volunteers were collecting cages with pets and bringing home. And it was for me something strange when I was paying for the checks with food for parrot or food for cats, because our volunteers were collecting these cages even on trains and taken home, and some of them are still having zoo at their house, and we hope that when their owners come back, they will take their pets back also. The most important thing in medicine was hemostatic tourniquets. So we're still buying every month 3 up to 5,000 tourniquets and distribute among communities, because when it is bombing, up to 10 people are injured in every big city, and we have to help them because they have to stop bleeding and go to hospital, and this stop bleeding medicine are very important in this situation of war, especially when it is bombing in the cities with the biggest shelling, like Zaporizhzhia, Dnipro, Poltava, the Donetsk region, Lugansk region. So many civilians get injured, not only our soldiers, but also a lot of civilians get injured. And by these days, we have statistics that there are more killed civilians than even killed soldiers. It is said that up to 50,000 civilians got killed in this war already by these days. And it is a terrible statistics because most of them were tortured by Russians, or they have been raped or killed just because they are civilians. That's all. And we don't know a lot because many of territory are occupied. But when the Russians were coming back from Kyiv region, from Sumy and Chernigiv, Irpin, Bucha, you've heard a lot of terrible stories about finding big amounts of killed people, tortured and raped people, children, women. That for us, it's just a big shock because we could not believe, and we do not believe still now, that this can happen in the 21st century in the center of Europe. We were helping with gasoline to ambulances in Kiev and Chernigiv because a lot of ambulances were working 24 hours, 7 days, and they needed gasoline to get injured people. So we were helping them also. Chernigiv team for 2 months was delivering food to Chernigiv and helping people. In Dnipro, we were helping a lot to Mechnikova Hospital. This is the biggest hospital in Dnipro, who is working with wounded soldiers and wounded civilians. When Slavutich, Borodyanka, Irpin, and Bucha were liberated, many of help and support came from our team. They were going there every day, bringing help, support, food, medicine for these people who were coming back or who were staying inside. In the first months, it was a complete chaos, and we could not have any statistics. We could not put any logo or Rotary logo on any delivery or any help. But only in April, we made these covers with our logos, and these days we have more vivid photos with these covers so that you can see that it is Rotary help. Thank you very much. This is the end of our presentation, and we are still collecting money for shelters. We are collecting up to 400,000 US dollars to help to equip shelters for people, IDPs, internally displaced people. We want them to stay until the war is over. We want them to have food, medicine, and also help to restore their businesses or restore their businesses or their work, because most of these people lost their jobs, and this is a big problem also. So these days we are also equipped in up to 3 or 4 shelters, and in this presentation you cannot see many of them, this work, because it is on the progress. When we finish it, then we will have this opportunity to present and to tell about this, but many projects are in progress now. So we will be thankful for any help, donation, and support from your side. And if you have any questions, you are welcome. I see the question that how are children handling in this situation? You know that up to 300 children have been killed in this war already. Most of them were under shelling and bombing in the houses they lived in. The children got the psychological shock and trauma because many of families are split. For example, their father is on the war with fighting as a soldier, and he or she is living with mother in shelter or somewhere in house to staying there to survive. These children are settled in shelters together with their mothers, or they go abroad and become refugee because many countries provided support for about 5 million Ukrainians who left Ukraine. But many people are coming back together with their children. By the way, until it was a study year, many children continued their study remotely because due to COVID situation before, many children got used to learning online. And when the child comes to another place, the very moment the mother, his or her mother gets the refugee or IDP status with special paper, the next our child gets access to school and a link how to join these classes in this local school and continue learning and start socializing. This is a very good system because we had war starting from 2014 with Lugansk and Donetsk, and a lot of children have this system of remote learning because they have to finish school.
Oksana, can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
Oh, brilliant. So these speakers are working fine.
Yes, so are you able to get enough supplies of fuel? Yes, with the fuel is a terrible situation in Ukraine because several plants that produce fuel were ruined. That was also the ecological problem because many of fuel got into the ground, and a lot of underground waters are spoiled completely for many years ahead, and you cannot drink this water anymore. But for our volunteer work, we have special access to fuel stations, not in all regions, because some regions are very difficult to provide this, but in the center and in the Poltava region, Cherkasy region, we don't have big problem. The most problem are on the east with fuel. Dnipro region, Zaporizhia region, because sometimes it takes up to 5 or 6 hours to stay in line to get fuel for the car. So yes, we have problem in the east. It is still a big problem for Ukraine.
Oksana, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. It's John Stockbridge. We've been talking.
Yes, nice to see you.
Does anybody here at Southern Districts have any questions? No, you've rendered them all mute, Oksana.
No, I have a question also. Are you receiving the funding through Rotary in Australia for your projects? How long does it take? We had, first of all, thank you very much, because there are a few Rotary clubs who also provide support and help. These are amount about 10,000 US dollars that you were helping us. And we deliver this help immediately to shelters, to equipped shelters, and to help with food, medicine, tourniquets, and we are also helping to we are equipping our shelters with beds, mattresses, pillows, and many others. Then we have also support from Rotary International, but these disaster grants, we didn't get any disaster grant by now, but maybe we can work with you, and we can also get the disaster grant of 25,000. And of course, we are still collecting about 400,000 US dollars to equip up to 50 shelters for women and children these days for them to live, to stay in this situation, because they don't have place to go. Many of the people who had relatives, they relocated to other countries or to other cities. But many people who do not have this opportunity or do not have money, they need support from government and volunteers to get place to live and to eat and to start to find job, to find school study, so that they continue their life. We all believe that very soon we will win. We all believe this. But nobody knows how long this war will last. That is the problem, because these shelters are equipped for 3 or 6 months to live. They're not equipped as usual house, because in one room they can be living up to 5 or 6 people together, like in a community. So it is not very comfortable for people who used to have their flat or their house to live together with unfamiliar people. But of course, it's life, because it's war. Rotary Australia World Communities has raised through Australian Rotarians 4.8 million Australian dollars. I will connect you with the people here. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, because we are now in communication with Mr. Guy, who is presenting community of this help to Ukraine. Of course, our negotiation took some time, but maybe there are another people in another directions that we can work together. That would be wonderful. But in fact, we are connected with people who are also helping Ukraine. Maybe you have another groups of support, so we will be very thankful if you connect us, and it would be wonderful. But by this day, as far as I know, by these days, this is a question from southern districts. If you have any contacts, that would be great to connect. Thank you.
Yep, Oksana, we can connect you up. I've got a question from the floor here. Craig?
Mine's a pretty simple question. What's the most important thing you need help with?
So what's the most important thing you need help with?
By these days, we decided that the most important thing is to help people, IDPs. So we are equipped in shelters for people to come and to stay, to help with hygiene, medicine, settlement. For example, like food, medicine, beds, mattresses, pillows. Why? Because by these days, people who come, they are sleeping on floor. They don't have decent conditions. That is why we are helping with humanitarian support. We divided it that some people who are coming back to their houses, they need non-food sets to help them to restore their houses. But people who lost their houses, or for people who removed from their occupied territory, because up to 20% of Ukrainian territory is now occupied by Russians. And almost all the civilians left this, not all, but most of people left this territory because they don't want to be under occupation. Moreover, our government strongly recommend that people leave these territories, because after this situation with Irpin and Bucha and these horrible things that we have seen after liberating these cities, our government strongly recommend to all civilians to leave the territory, because they can be killed in vain. We know for sure that there will no equity, there will be no law at this territory when Russians come. They are like some people from the ancient times. They are killing everything. They are stealing all the stuff inside of house. They kill people who are against them, and you cannot control. There is no, how to say, punishment system to control them, to make discipline. And that is why many people are just leaving their territory to stay alive. So the most important thing for us, as we indicated, is to help these IDPs to have decent conditions. This is what we now have as a target to help these people.
Thanks, Oksana. So we'll wind things up here, I think. Thank you so much for your time. And it's been lovely to catch up. rest assured that our hearts and our support are with you. And I will connect you with the right people in the Rotary company to talk about getting funds transferred over. I know we've already sent quite a bit over, and that's through a third party that's operating in the Ukraine. But I'll check that further. I'll connect you directly, Oksana.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Bye.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Oksana?
Yes.
My name is Phil Caudry and I'm the president of the Rotary Club of Southern Districts. And I would like to thank you very much for your time tonight and bringing us up to date with what's happening in Ukraine. And you can be assured that all the Rotary clubs in Australia and Rotary International worldwide are right behind you and will fully support you as long as you possibly need us. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Phil.
Okay, we finished?
I think so. You did it. Probably should leave then. If one person leaves, everyone can start.
Bye-bye.